Jodie here. Quick video from my overgrown back garden, but very grateful to have a garden right now. So we're in isolation. Hope you are too. Hope you're staying safe. For those of you who are in school, I hope you're managing to keep the numbers down and look after those key workers and get those free school meals out. You're doing a great job. But I just wanted to do a quick video because I'm getting a lot of questions about video conferencing. So we're at the stage now where people have kind of done their first phase of getting things out there and are now thinking, right, after Easter, I'm going to start some video conferencing of some sort. But you may have heard of Zoom bombing, which is where someone gets into a Zoom call that shouldn't be there and posts all sorts of inappropriate things. So that's kind of setting people really back on an esafety worry case. So I just wanted to reassure you, first of all, that there are loads of steps you can take to make sure that doesn't happen. And with any video conferencing, there are lots of things you can do, but also that there are still steps that you need to take to make sure all this is being done correctly. Now, normally, when you take anything like video conferencing into a school, if I was to go in and either be selling it or trying to train somebody on it, I know exactly what kind of questions I would get, and they're kind of things like, can somebody get into the room that shouldn't be there? Can this happen? Can that happen? Blah, 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 blah. So what we normally do in a school situation is you spend time getting various steps in place before you do anything. All of these things, everything has a risk or a possibility. There are things we need to look at in terms of where that data goes, you know, in terms of GDPR and kind of general kind of looking after our data. What does that mean when something's free in terms of our data? You know, who's holding that data, or what's our data used for? How is it anonymized, and so on. And then there's the actual, you know, what can happen on the call, what can go wrong, and what is it useful for. And so the first thing you always think about with EdTech is what is my purpose? If you've got no purpose to do the video conferencing, then you don't have to. You know, there's loads of ways that you can carry out online learning without it, but you might want to be using video conferencing just for your staff meetings, or for with parents, or with particular groups, or maybe you just want to do a catch-up Q&A, or just to see people's faces and kind of alleviate some of that isolation of people being away from their friends and so on. So whatever you want to use it for. Bear in mind that video conferencing can be done. It can be done as safely as anything can, i.e. I can't ever stand here and say there's no risk to anything, but there is the risk, which is we've just set it up wrong and anyone can access it, and then there are the risks of we've done everything we possibly can. If it goes wrong at that point, it's like a serious hacker who can hack into the NHS and all sorts of different things. You know, there's always people at that level, but we're mitigating mostly against that not being a likely thing to happen. But normally what we'd do is we'd think, right, pick the right tool, first of all. So what do I want to achieve? What's the right tool for that? And once you've picked the tool, get to know it, spend time with it, get the staff confident with it before they use it with anyone else. One of the things I recommend with using this kind of technology especially is to get all the staff to use it together. Play around with it, get everyone to see what's possible. Your more techie people will find things and then be able to share them with everyone else. The great thing about video conferencing is it's really easy to train on when everyone's on it together, because you can just share screens. So if one person's found something, they immediately share screen, show everyone else, and it's a really easy way to do training. So that's great. Also, get people to act like naughty students. So can you get someone to try and find if they can break it, if they can change something you didn't want changed, if they can affect it in some way that you didn't want, if they can take control off the main teacher. And once you've figured all that out, you can go and have a look at how you stop a student being able to do that, or a parent being able to do that. So there's loads of guides, Zoom and everyone else, Hangouts, everyone has guides to allow you to set these things up as safely and securely as possible to make sure it can happen without you worrying. But you've still got to get the staff confident. You've still got to get acceptable use policies. Now, in this situation, you might have to do that by saying in an email to parents, right, here are the details for logging on. If you are going to log on, or your student's going to log on, you accept these following rules, and make that part of the kind of the sign in. Or you might want to try and send something through a document that can be signed online. But don't skip steps. So all this stuff that normally takes 6 months, you might be doing this in a day or 2 days now, or you might be doing it over Easter to get ready for doing some live lessons after Easter. But don't skip anything. We can do everything fast. You know, we're in a situation where you've got people hopefully at home, working from home, who can spend time on this. So just do all the same steps you normally would, just do them quicker. Don't skip steps in order to get straight onto something you like the idea of. Same as any time in schooling, you don't jump straight onto an EdTech platform that you've never used. You get the staff confident, you find out what could go wrong, you think about the worst case scenarios, and then you mitigate against those happening by making sure staff are fully trained on how to stop it, and that you have acceptable usage policies in place, and that you, even at the beginning of the call, you can lay those acceptable use rules out at the very beginning, make sure that everyone knows and is aware and signs up. You can even get them to nod on screen and record that as part of your acceptance. Whatever you want to do, there's loads of ways you can do it. Don't shy away completely from the technology, it's great, but do put all the right steps in place, even if you have to quickly get them in place within a day. So any questions, just email me or message me at JodieWorld on Twitter, and I will respond to as many as I can. Take care. Bye.